So the Ahmaud Arbery case was another high-profile self-defense case that just finished this past week, so we're going to talk about that next.
But if you have legal matters that involve firearms, then you need to call Attorney John Dillon, especially if you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you need to know that your guns are California compliant. Call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Call 760-642-7150 or visit his website at DillonLawGP.com.
Okay, so we're going to continue with Dan Wos here. And Dan, we're going to ask about the Ahmaud Arbery case and what you can tell us about that. I guess first off, I guess could you recap that? So I don't know if everybody knows exactly what's going on here because we had 3 big cases in the last week or so.
Yeah, well, when I first saw some of the footage on this thing, and I first started seeing news about this, it was a story kind of about a guy who was accused of trespassing in a neighborhood, and he was accused of going through this construction site, and he shouldn't have been there. And apparently there were other accusations that he had been trespassing previously. So I'm watching the thing and I'm going, okay, all right. So the guy's trespassing, and then they see the guy running, jogging or running, however you want to see it, and these 3 other guys take it into their own hands, take the law into their own hands, and they follow the guy and they confront him. And then I see 2 vehicles. I see a truck. I see Ahmaud Arbery walk in front of the one truck, and they had a physical confrontation, and he gets shot. Now, I guess what the idea was there is that they tried to claim self-defense. It didn't necessarily look like self-defense to me. It looked like these guys trying to protect their neighborhood and maybe misread the situation. Now, I didn't see all the details in the court case, so I don't know how much they got into the whole trespassing stuff. But it was the case came down as they did not have justification for self-defense, and they killed this guy. That's the way I saw it, and I guess we go with the court, with what the court said. I mean, they had the data, they had the details, and they made the decision. And I think the court system worked in this case, and I also think it worked in the Rittenhouse case.
Well, and that's a good just a good comparison there too, because a lot of the anti-gun media and those people, lump those two together is why self-defense is bad, basically. And the difference between the Rittenhouse case, or what are some of the differences, I guess, in terms of self-defense between what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse and what happened with these guys?
Oh, well, I think it's pretty clear. I think it's clear. To me, Rittenhouse was clearly attacked 3 times. I mean, you could see it was all on video. These guys were coming after him. One guy had a gun. And his self-defense was perfectly clear to me. Now, the other case, the Arbery case, it didn't look so clear to me. It looked like Arbery attacked the guy physically, and there was a scuffle with the rifle. It was a rifle or a shotgun. I can't remember, but there was some sort of scuffle there, and he ended up getting killed. That didn't look the same to me. It wasn't. They were following him. They were pursuing him, so it was a little bit different. These guys in the Rittenhouse case were pursuing Rittenhouse, and they were attacking him. So it just looked a little bit different to me. These things are never clear cut. I mean, there's always so many details and so many parameters and things that we have to take into consideration. I would hate to be the juror on either one of these cases.
Yeah, it's one of, when we talk about training a lot. Hey, take a class, take training. We have this instructor coming into town. We're not really talking about marksmanship. I know that everybody out there can put a hole in a piece of paper, 10 yards away. There are very few gun owners that have had any kind of training. That's easy. And it's important, but really what the complicated part, and I think what what more gun owners need training in is understanding the legalities and the morality of self-defense, what you can and can't do, when you can and can't do it. Because, man, it really looked like, and I recall the video that you're talking about where they confronted the guy and pursued him. But if you look at that, I'm going to be really generous and say that they didn't understand, the law when it comes to self-defense. I think other people might see that video and say their motivation was a little bit more, I don't know, I don't want to say sinister, but clearly in that case, they didn't understand the legalities of self-defense. And the people that criticize Rittenhouse definitely don't understand the legalities and the moralities of self-defense. Is that a fair statement to make?
Oh, definitely. It's politically driven, of course. But in the Arbery case, the guys didn't understand self-defense. Totally agree with you. However, there was more to it than three white guys hunting down a black guy like the media would like you to believe. There was a heck of a lot more to it. I mean, there was a situation that was unfolding, and it was different. Now, they clearly made a mistake when it comes to self-defense, and they shouldn't have done what they did. Were their intentions bad? I don't know. The outcome was horrible and unjustified. But in the Rittenhouse case, it was. I mean, the people on the left don't understand self-defense there, but I think they do understand self-defense. They just don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that Kyle Rittenhouse acted in self-defense because what would that say about their side, their team, their rioters and protesters? It would say that they were the bad guys. And I don't think the left wants to admit that they're the bad guys because I think in some twisted way they believe they're the good guys.
Did you see? I agree. So many, especially the talking heads, kind of stuck to their story and didn't really get specific, but just decided it was a bad case. Did you see though, Dan, Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks come out and actually change her position and say, "Hey, I was wrong"? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So I don't know. Are you familiar with the Young Turks?
Oh yeah.
Not exactly a pro-gun program. And
right, exactly. Who's that guy? Schenk or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Younger. I think I'm saying that right. Anna Kasparian is his sidekick, and man, she was all over Rittenhouse. And then when things came down and the decision went in favor of Rittenhouse, she actually came out and said, "You know what? I was wrong. I bought what the media was selling me, and what they were selling me wasn't right." I'm paraphrasing. But that was the gist of it. That was shocking to me because there really are few people that are more anti-gun or more narrative. I mean, when you talk about the narrative, she's one of the people that sets the narrative. It's not even like she follows it, but for her, it was so obvious though what went on with Rittenhouse and the fact that frankly he acted well within the law when it comes to self-defense, even to the point of restraining himself. That third guy. Yeah. He paused. He waited. He paused until the guy actually was pointing a gun at him, which shows amazing restraint and understanding and self-awareness. But it was so obvious that even somebody as extremist and as narrative driven as Anna Kasparian even came out and said, "All right, okay, I can't even pretend at this point," which I thought was amazing. And then the narrative changed from, we hate Rittenhouse to, the system. Now this is just an example of how racist the system is. Yeah,
he's a white guy. White guy's racist because he killed two other white guys.
Or the system's racist because if Rittenhouse were, black or Hispanic, he would not have gotten off, is the implication.
Oh, yeah, right. Rittenhouse had special privileges. But I think getting back to the left, the people on the left realizing that this was self-defense. I think a lot of them are realizing how important self-defense is because just go back to the riots of 2020. Most of the people living in those buildings that were getting burned down were liberals, and we found out later that gun sales almost doubled, and half of the new gun sales were first-timers. You have to believe that a lot of those first-timers were liberal progressives who said, "Wait a minute, this is crazy. I need to defend myself, whether I'm a Republican or a Democrat. Self-defense is an important thing. I have a family, I have a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and I think people are starting to wake up. I really do. I think we're entering a strange time where self-defense is not going to be a taboo, word anymore, just because it's attached to the Second Amendment.
So the Rittenhouse case was obviously important when it comes to standing up for the right for self-defense. Do you think that the Arbery case was equally as important, or do you think it won't even be a footnote in history?
I think the Arbery case is important because it shows, it defines the parameters of self-defense, right? Does that make sense?
It does. It feels like, okay, Rittenhouse did it right, he got off. These other guys didn't, and they didn't get off.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Is that kind of what you mean?
I think so. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. And, I wish I was able to see the case and all the details and how it all played out, because I'm sure there was a lot of evidence on both sides, and that would have been really interesting to watch. But ultimately,
I can tell you the evidence was overwhelming. There was no self-defense whatsoever. There was no comments between Arbery and Michaels. He didn't threaten him. He didn't say anything. And Michaels even admitted to that he never, ever did anything to threaten him. Yeah. The only ones doing the talking was the father, and they were just they had theft in the neighborhood. They had no idea who it was, and they seen this black guy running down the street. They tried to stop him. They were going to do a citizen's arrest on him, and nothing was ever said from Arbery. And then Michaels throws the gun out, or puts the gun in his chest. Arbery goes after it, swings at him, and he pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, it was just that simple. I mean, and that's why the case went as quickly as it did. I mean, Michaels just flat said, he incriminated himself, basically stating they had no reason to do what they did.
Well, if these guys won, just hypothetically, let's just spitball here a little bit. If these guys won and they were not guilty, they were found not guilty, I don't think that would be good for
no.
firearm owners. I don't think it would be good, because it would kind of discredit self-defense, and it would give them a chance to.
Well, one would have wiped out the other. The written case would have been it would have been a wash. All right, buddy. Hey, it's good having you on. Great interview. Thank you very much. How do people follow you around?
People can find me at goodgunbadguy.com. Goodgunbadguy.com. And I also have a web show called The Loaded Mic. Loaded Mic, M-I-C, like microphone.
All right.
Thanks so much, fellas. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel. Or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.